Hello, everyone. After the security breach, which happened on 13th of December, there is a major overhaul in the security protocol of Parliament of India. Now, the CISF will be taking over the entire security systems of the Parliament of India. With me, Yashwardhan Azad. What does it mean now for CISF to do it? What changes now onwards, sir?
Well, as you know, all the important government institutions have been taken over by CISF for security, and also they are also at the airports. So at the Parliament, I think it's a good thing because it's a professional approach to security in Parliament, and that would mainly imply that the various layers of checks, where you screen the visitors, where you screen the staff, and where you screen the members of Parliament, those stations will now be managed by CISF security personnel, just like they are doing it at the airport.
Okay, so because all the major installations, as you said rightly, besides the airport, the nuclear establishments and various technology centers of India are manned by CISF, so they are far more well equipped. The loopholes in the entire Parliament security system, the levels of scanning has been exposed through this massive breach, Mr. Yashwardhan Azad. But in terms of various agencies, it was the Parliament Security Service which was set up post 2001 breach, and now it will be taken over by CISF. What changes in terms of the roles?
You see, it will be as it is. There'll be a pressure of manpower on the CISF. So as of now, I think the screening part will be taken over by the CISF. I don't know whether the government has announced that even the outside will be taken over by the CISF. So which means that the plain clothes role at the screening stations for the visitors and MPs and the staff. And
So that was earlier done by the Delhi police?
Earlier done by the Delhi police on deputation to the Parliament and the Parliament on duty group. That was the screening portion. But outside you need so many a complement of forces, and they are carrying equipment, their arms, they're very, very sophisticated arms. You have snipers too, and that constituted from the CRPF, the ITBP, and the Delhi police. So I don't think it will be possible for the CISF to provide security for the entire Parliament. So obviously, the outer precincts will be guarded by the CPOs as usual, and this will take care of the access control part. That is the screening part of the visitors. That is the most important.
So are you of the opinion that this has to do with largely frisking? Because in this particular incident, what is evident is that the old frisking processes which were followed, or physical frisking, perhaps skipping the shoes, is responsible for what we saw that day.
Yes, there are a lot of things. I mean, I would say the technology induction and regular upgradation is something which the Parliament, security could not do it on its own. It is not like the SPG, where SPG does always it does drills, monitors, and scouts around the whole world for latest equipment. So if CISF comes in, they are already introducing something new at the airport, that is a scanner, which is a better scanner, and also full body scanners at the airport. I think Delhi airport will introduce it. So Parliament will be next, and CISF will be in a position to do that. So in that respect, it's a very professional approach, but the resources would be stretched. That is true. The government may, sanction even more personnel. Now that is a different issue in terms of cost, etc.
And since we have often seen jurisdiction battle play out between various agencies, would you say that this is no confidence to Delhi police?
No, not really, Maria, because the actually in charge of the Parliament security is the joint secretary, whose post is vacant. It's an IPS officer. He is in full control. The Delhi police people come there only on deputation, plainclothesmen from frisking, etc. So in that way, the jurisdiction problem is there are many forces, complement of CRPF, complement of ITBP, then the Delhi police, Parliament duty group, and now CISF. if the CISF is given the complete charge of parliament, then the ideal, it will be outside and inside, but that will require thousands of men. So as of now, I think they'll start with the frisking, etc., screening of for the access control, and the latter part, outside part, will remain as it is.
So you're emphasizing on access control repeatedly, Mr. Azad. So what do you think should be done? Is it about full body scanners that will be put in place just as what we see at the airports?
Yes, what I'm saying is that for shoes, taking off the shoes, then again, so many other things. If it's rubber or plastic, you can't make out anything. Full body scanners are the only advantage. It's called the backscatter scanner, which can trace anything. The other thing is, in fact, technology has gone ahead. In America and North Europe, they have gone to millimeter wave scanners. So these are things which the CISF will look at and introduce them. They will have to introduce them because the volume of visitors is more and they have to pass them in faster time. That is exactly why the Delhi airport, where the BCS has announced they are introducing the full body scanners by next May, I think. So that is something which will be introduced in Parliament. The most critical part, see, there are two parts, Maria. The outer phalanx of the complement of forces, they did not fail. I mean, nobody was allowed to the outer gates. And you have the latest technology, RFIDs, bollards, and things like that. What failed was the access control of the frisking. That is the gap which has to be taken care of, which will be filled up by the CISF, a totally professional body.
Okay, so you have a lot of faith in CISF, and rightly so, one would say. But Mr. Azad, again, there are multiple sides to this breach that we saw happened. Will one agency be sufficing all the loopholes which have to be plugged?
Well, it is in fact, it is better if there is one agency alone which manages the access control, that is the screening, because there is homogeneity, there are uniform standards, and then CISF brings with it a very, very rich experience. So if you have homogeneity and you have supervision and much, much better coordination, then that's the way to go in a place like Parliament House. You imagine after delimitation, there'll be more members of Parliament, there'll be more ministers. So this is actually a national security issue, which has to be looked into very, very seriously. So for the time being, I think CISF is great, but I do think personally that there should be a Parliament security group which should be created. The
But,
training,
but there was this Parliament Security Service
yes, it
post
didn't work.
2001.
Yeah, it didn't work. And there are a lot of other issues, Maria. If I can say now, the MPs will have to cooperate with this security. Many a times, if you see, the passes are given at a notice of 2 hours. So when the MPs want something, they do. I remember going to Parliament as in school, and on days when it would be flowing with visitors, top guns like Lohia and Madhu Limye and Prakash Veer Shastri used to speak. So the problem in Parliament of visitors will remain. You have to have a system which is absolutely fail-proof. Ultimately, no security arrangement you can say cannot be breached. It can be breached. So what you can do is to keep on monitoring and upgrade it constantly.
Okay, so you are of the opinion that post CISF taking over, that upgradation, the much needed upgradation of the new security system in the new Parliament building will happen. Yashwardhan Azad, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us on this big story that's trending right now on all social media platforms.
Thank you.